Hey guys, Ilhan Omar in the news again, this time with some breaking reporting out of the post-millennial um, due to a FOIA request about her father and how she actually became a citizen and when, more importantly, she became a citizen through her father's citizenship process. Could she actually be denaturalized and deported? Let's take a look here.
Yeah, you've been putting all of this out there on social media. And again, you have been for years. I know one of your posts recently was even shared by President Trump's Truth Social account. It's not just your opinion, though. You've documented all of this. And you can see for yourself, the screenshots were, as you say, Omar changed her birth year from 1981 to 1982. Despite the documentation, many still have doubts, especially those who pointed out that USCIS doesn't release full records publicly and name verifications may affect searches. But what do you say to those who doubt this story?
I believe that the whole narrative that Ilhan Omar became a citizen at the age of 17, that narrative that's documented, has been sold for so long that people have bought into it and they believe it. But where's the documentation? No one has seen her official naturalization records. No one. Not the Minnesota Secretary of State, not the Federal Election Commission, not Congress. And there is enough evidence now, especially in changing her birth year. I mean, who does that?
Okay, let me just read.
So yeah, who does that? Who changed their birth year? And like I said before, this all came into question. It's been known for years that she was reported to have married her brother to have him defraud the system and gain his citizenship that way. But now, in all those years, no one really looked into her background and how she became a citizen. And it looks like finally, through a freedom of information request done by the post-millennial, and that previous reporter you saw, AJ Kern from the post-millennial, doing this deep dive research and making the exertion that she is here fraudulently and was not a minor when she applied through citizenship or pathway to citizenship through her father. So I mean, this is huge news if that's the case. She's a sitting U.S. Congresswoman, and she would be disqualified if immediately if any of this were to be found out to be true. And it's looking like it is. It's not a one-off. Multiple people and multiple sources are reporting on this today. Let's take a look at what Megyn Kelly has to say about this.
The following, and they're citing this Matt Tardio on X. Ilhan Omar claims that she obtained her citizenship when her father was naturalized in 2000, just months before her 18th birthday. But there's a problem. No record has been found of his naturalization paperwork. In response to a FOIA request for her father's N-400 paperwork filed by A.J. Kern in June of 2023, the National Records Center was unable to locate any filings under his name. Question, can she be denaturalized and deported if this is substantiated? Answer, yes. If fraud was involved in her father's alleged naturalization, then her citizenship could be on the chopping block because that would be immigration fraud by the dad that would affect her, and that would be a political earthquake, Dave Smith, that if she's not a U.S. citizen, she can't be a U.S. House member, and she could be deported. I mean, I just want to give you that little nugget going off into the weekend.
So, yes, please. We can only be so lucky. If we could get her deported, but if this were found out to be true, I mean, it calls into question anything. I mean, how much of an idiot do you feel like just paying your taxes, knowing that our system is so corrupt it could allow an individual to come here, commit fraud coming here, and come here under completely false pretenses and then game the system, become a U.S. Congresswoman who's made millions and millions of dollars since becoming a U.S. Congresswoman, just like every person who goes into politics, suddenly becomes a millionaire overnight. But this is outrageous, and if it's found out to be true, but it's looking like more and more. This is just what these people do. They come here and they commit fraud, and that it's part of their nature. It's part of their culture, realistically. But is there going to be any accountability? I don't know. Let's hope so. When are all these people going to get deported? That's what I'm waiting to see.
The border czar Tom Homan joins us tonight.
See what Tom Homan has to say about this,
as well as a number of other issues. And sir, it's good to have you back on the show. Trump mentioning the Daily Mail reporting from 2020 that Ilhan Omar married her brother to get into the country. This was last week. Take a listen.
Look at their nation. Look how bad their nation is. It's not even a nation. It's just people walking around killing each other. They've taken billions and billions of dollars. They have a representative, Ilhan Omar, who they say married her brother. It's a fraud.
Calls that a fraud. It's a story that has never been successfully refuted, even though it's now a 5-year-old story. That's clearly a deportable offense. Is there an investigation into that?
You know, I just got advised by a fraud investigator the other day on that. I asked the question, who reviewed the file and says that there was immigration fraud involved. The statute of limitations became an issue in the last 4 years when this was first brought up. Who was president? Who ran DOJ? So pulling the records now, pulling the files, and we're looking at, but this fraud investigator, who I know personally, one of the best fraud investigators in HSI, Homeland Security Investigations, said there's no doubt he reviewed the file. So I'm running that down this week, matter of fact, and we'll see.
It's tremendous that, I mean, and according to the Secretary, Kristi Noem of DHS, she said nearly 50% of the visas are fraudulent.
50% of the visas? Is that what he just said?
This community. I mean, that would mean that half the Somali refugees are here in some way illegally. What's going to happen? Is something actually going to happen? Are there going to be people stripped of their visas, deported? Are we going to see that?
Absolutely. I mean, those days are over. Thank God President Trump's in the White House. We're going to look at all of them. I mean, we're going to look at those here illegally, of course. We're going to look at those here under a visa or some sort of, immigration process that are criminals. We're going to look at the national security threats. But those who came through a process that weren't properly vetted, who didn't provide documentation, who slipped through the Biden's weak processes on, giving visas and temporary, whether student visas or visitors visas or whatever. We're going the whole gamut.
Get them out.
Trump has instructed us go down and we're going to deep dive all of this. And we're going to hold people accountable. So yes.
About time. I'll believe it when I see it.
Coming. Absolutely.
All right, this news just breaking moments ago. Fox News has obtained photos of one of the Somali illegal immigrants wrapped up in the Minnesota fraud scandal, posing with several high-profile Minnesota Democrats, including Congresswoman Ilhan Omar and Governor Tim Walz. The man pictured is Abdul Dahir Ibrahim. He entered the country in 2000 and has had an order for removal since 2004. He also has a prior conviction in Canada for asylum and welfare fraud. ICE tells Fox News Ibrahim was granted temporary protected status for 10 years, but should have never been eligible. We are going to have more on this in our next hour.
So, no surprise there. I mean, we just saw Tom Homan, the border czar. I trust that guy. But, man, his hands are tied at every turn. These people throw up roadblocks for that guy, whether it be judicial activism or, just people making it impossible for these people to execute their jobs properly. So I'll believe it when I see it. I hate to be that cynical, but I'm sure most people watching this feel the same way. I'll believe it when I see it. I don't put a lot when people say I don't believe in accountability in government anymore. It seems like there's none. There's no accountability in the media. They can lie. There's no accountability to our elected officials. Public service is a joke to them. All these people are getting rich and they're selling us out doing it. So you guys let me know in the comments below. Do you think we'll ever see Ilhan Omar be deported? Best case scenario, but even any kind of accountability, is she going to be stripped of her duties as a congresswoman? If this is all found out to be true, let me know in the comments below what you guys think, if we'll see any accountability there. I doubt it. But anyway, boys, until the next video, I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.